Hey everybody, it's me, Carlo Libertini. In this video, we're going to talk about PSP Audio's InfiniStrip. Now, I've been working with this processing suite of plugins for a few months now, and it is just amazing. So I'm really excited about doing this video today. It's an infinitely configurable channel strip. It comes with over 22 independent processors here, this 500 series lunchbox style that you can arrange in any order up to 7 slots at a time. So you can literally infinitely create and process your audio in an unbelievable number of ways. So let's get started. Now, another thing I want to point out to you is that the PSP InfiniStrip here has zero latency. It's super cool. It's very fast and it doesn't tax your computer at all. I don't know how they do it. Don't ask me. But it's also really great for recording and live work if you're into that too. And it also comes with over 150 presets to get started. Now, these aren't just like random presets. These are custom tailored by professionals. And I've gone through almost all of these and they're quite remarkable. So as you can tell, I am super excited about this. And the way it works is you load up your lunchbox here. What we're looking at here are the individual processors. Now, to add processors, you can come to this plus sign and choose any one of the included ones. And you can also change the size to a mini view if you wanted, a full size mode. Here you go. And this will give you all of the different slots available in our lunchbox. So for example, if you wanted to add a gate, you can add a gate. A limiter, you could add a VCA limiter. You can even add a master control. And then you got 2 additional ones here for additional processing. Now, each one of these slots, each one of these unique processors comes with their own presets here at the bottom. Just simply select them. You could choose through them like that. And you can also cycle through them in real time with the left and right arrows here down below. Plus, you can mute them and you can solo that process. And I think this is really cool. If you want to hear just what the channel queue is doing, regardless of the other inserts, this will do that for you. And you can also do the opposite and mute that processing. Now, you can also customize where they go by simply selecting and dragging them. Let's say I wanted my gate to come before my filtering. There. And you could remove them if you want. You can right-click and choose Remove. Or you can select one, and one of my favorites is to just bring it down and let it go. So you can see how and why it's called the InfiniStrip. But the best way to really understand this is to check it out. So let's get started here. I'm going to bring this, let's say I want to work on my drum bus right now. Here, let me take this off of my bass guitar and let's solo my drums. Let's open up the PSP InfiniStrip that I have on there. And let's condense it down to the resizable window view like that. Okay, so this is on my drum bus. Let's take a listen to the drums without any processing. Okay, it's drums. Let's bring it in. There. Now I exaggerated it because you've got the gate on there. Did you see that? Now I could mute that or just solo the effect. Or if you come across this, just take it and remove it. And there you have it. Now you know the plugin suite is working, of course. What we're looking at first here is our preamps. Now I want to talk about each one of these modules. Right now it's set to 80s preamp. This is going to be kind of an SSL texture, a flavor, if you will, added to your track. Now, of course, if you've recorded your tracks with let's say your favorite preamp already, you don't need to use this processor. But I find that a little bit does go a long way, and it can be used as a way to maybe discover a new tonality to, processing your audio. Let's do that right now. I'll increase the drive to about maybe 6 right there, and the gain just a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to mute the other inserts. And if I wanted to, we could just take them all out and start from scratch. Let's hear just the 80s preamp on the drums. Here's with it. Here's without. Already a huge difference. Let's bring it back in. The cymbals are clearer, the low end is a lot tighter, and that's just with this one module. All right, let's bring in some basic filtering. What this is going to do is allow us to have a high pass filter here, some high cut, low cut, something like that. Let's take a listen to this. Great. Now let's add a compressor. We could add a gate if we wanted, but I'm going to go to the compressors. Let me bring in an FET compressor. And let's take that out of mono. And let's set some compressor threshold settings. I don't want to squash the drums too much. It's a little bit of an area performance, but we need to tame some of those wild dynamics. Take a listen. So you can see on those snare drips how the snare hits, how the needle's popping it down 3 dBs right there. So here's without the processing so far. And with. The kick drum is really benefiting from this already. Now, if you're happy with this, one thing I like to add here, you can continue adding modules if you want, but I'm going to go to my master control. I love this. This is an additional gain staging. Now, gain staging is super important and very critical when you're mixing and mastering music. So here's another added gain stage. But you'll notice that it also has a width control and a balance for left and right center. This width control is really amazing. I'm going to bring it down to 0, which will basically turn this into a mono sounding drum kit. And we're going to bring it up and we're going to add some stereo width to this. And you'll see, I just love this. It's my secret weapon. I'm giving you guys my favorite tip here. I love this width knob. Take a listen. There, now we've got some space. We carved out some space in the middle there. Here's without the processing. This is without. And let's bring our InfiniStrip back in. Right here. Without. With. So we've added a little bit of preamp flavor to that, some basic filtering, FET processing, and master control. And you know what? I'm good with that. Let's go back to our bass guitar here. Let's bring this in. I'm going to add the PSP control. PSP audio, bring in a mono version of this, and let's work on our bass. I'm going to come down to some of the presets now, because we get so many really cool ones. Now, literally, this is just a lot of fun to use. I'm going to go to blues bass. Let's see what they give me for that. All right. Love it already. Okay, so here's the bass guitar without. They soloed that. Good. Let's bring in this preset. You can hear how it's leveling it out nicely. Really nicely. Really nicely. Now, if you want to bring the gain up, you could use this gain stage here or the level here in Studio One. I'm going to roll off some more low end there, just a little bit. And I'm going to tweak my threshold on my optical compressor a little bit better. A little bit more differently, I should say. I don't want to squash it too much. And here's before. And there. Now let's scroll through some more presets. This one's called Overdrive Bass. Oh, you know what? I really like this one. Here's before. Here's after. You can see it's chosen to use a preamp, a 70 style preamp here, retro EQ, FET processing, and a master control. Now in the master control in the mono version, we don't have the width control or the balance left right here, obviously, but we do have the additional gain staging. Let's hear this with the drums. Here's without the bass, processing, the InfiniStrip processing on the bass. I love what it's doing. It's added a little bit of a growl there, which I like. Now let's come to a section here with my heavy guitars. All right, let's take a listen to this because this needed a little bit of help if I remember. All right, let's go to our heavy guitars. There, let's take a listen to this. All right, let's open up the PSP InfiniStrip and let's bring this processor in. Now here's a preset I used called GTR Rhythm, GTR MW. Let's take a listen to this. Already it's more full, a lot more texture, a lot more life to those guitars. And it really, really brings out the crunch and bite. Here's without. And here's with. Nice. Now let's talk about the vocals here. Let's take these off of solo. And the vocals in the song need a lot of work. Let me bring in the InfiniStrip here on the lead vocals. And let's take a listen to this. Okay, so let's bring them in. I'll unmute these. And let's take a listen to this. This is without the processing. All right, let's bring it in now.
And I've made tragic mistakes. I've had more than I can take. Anytime you'd want.
Without?
You can always call.
Without it, it's very thin sounding, right?
It's your decision.
Bringing it in.
All. And you might never learn to compromise. You might never see the truth behind my green eyes.
Here's without.
Tragic mistakes. I've had more than I can take.
And here's with it.
I don't want to get up today. I don't want to get up today.
Wow, what a huge difference. Let's bring that back in. Now, as you can see, these vocals needed a lot of help. Let me come to the very beginning of the vocals right here. And let's really focus on that. Here's with the InfiniStrip processing so far.
Anytime you'd like, I'd make the world stand still. Talk to you all through the nighttime. You know that I always will.
Here's without.
Anytime you'd like,
Huge difference.
I'd make the world stand still. Talk to you all through the nighttime. You know that I always will.
Let's solo the vocals.
Anytime you'd like.
Okay, let's bring it in.
Anytime you'd like.
Wow, that is huge. Now, I'm choosing to use the 60s pre, but let's cycle through these a little bit. Let me go to the 70s. Ready? And notice that your settings don't change when you select a different module. They remain the same. So all you're doing is changing the preamp style, but your settings for your knobs don't change. Check it out. See that?
Anytime you'd like.
70s.
I'd make the world stand
80s.
still. Talk to you all through the nighttime. You know that I always will. It's so strange the way it rearranges the pieces don't fit.
I actually like this 80s style on there. Let me go back to the 60s.
Anytime you'd like.
Go back to the 80s.
Anytime you'd like.
It's a little smoother. Let's check it out. Let's pop it in the mix.
Anytime you'd like. I'd make the world stand still. Talk to you all through the nighttime. You know that I always will.
So I got some basic filtering here. Here's my FET, my FET compressor with my settings here. But notice on my channel Q, okay? This is really cool. Let me, now remember, you can also choose different presets here to get you started with. And you can also bypass any of these at any time. Remember that? Just to hear the flair of that unique processor without in conjunction of the others in the channel strip. But look at our channel Q. What I did is I'm cutting -2 at about 9K, adding 1.5 decibels at 1K. I'm adding 5 dBs at 671, and almost a decibel at 141. I'm going to mute the channel Q, the EQ on the InfiniStrip and the vocals. Take a listen to this.
Anytime you'd like, I'd make the world stand still.
Now let's bring the EQ in.
Anytime you'd like,
Yeah.
I'd make the world stand still.
So let's change this now. I'm going to scroll through different styles of EQ. Here's retro.
Anytime you'd like,
Let's go to pre.
anytime you'd like,
And you can hear there are subtle but very, very honest differences here. Let's go to our channel Q again.
anytime you'd like,
Okay, so we got 3 to choose from. Retro,
anytime you'd like, I'd make the world stand still.
pre.
Anytime you'd like,
I do like this one. It's kind of smooth too. I think the song calls for it. But let's go to the channel Q.
anytime you'd like.
But it depends on how it fits in the mix. Okay, so what we did is we looked at the InfiniStrip here, and there's a lot more to experience, but the best way is to really find out for yourself. And don't forget, you can sidechain these to respond to anything at all within your mixes. Here we get your sidechain features. And this is the most customizable channel strip that I've ever worked with. And the results are literally stellar. I've had nothing but fun working with the InfiniStrip, and it's elevated my mixes. Because the results, again, a little does go a long way, but you can be aggressive as you want. And as you can hear in this vocal, for example, it's really saving that vocal. I love it. Let's listen to the whole mix. We'll bring in everything now. Let's see. We've got it on our drum bus, we've got it on our heavy guitars, on our bass, and on our lead vocals, and we could go on and on from there. But let's evaluate our mix so far.
Will. It's so strange the way it rearranges, the pieces don't fit. Life's so confusing, the winning and the losing, but we're stuck with it. And I've made tragic mistakes. I've had more than I can take.
So don't forget, you can also add this on your master bus here if you wanted to do some bus compression, and you could use this for mastering. So check it out today. Again, my name's Carlo Libertini, and this has been the PSP Audio InfiniStrip. Literally the most infinitely configurable channel strip I've ever used, but also the best sounding. The best way, of course, is to find out for yourself. So check it out today. Visit PSP Audio on the web and take a listen for yourself. Stay busy and stay creative. And thanks for watching.